This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through your 2020 Flagstaff Microlite, excuse me, model 25 BDS. Okay, so I'm on the door side of the trailer, moving towards the rear. Okay, so you obviously have a griddle on a swing out bracket. Now this has to be plugged in with an LP hose that comes with it. So the male is right here on the back of it, just so you can see it. And then that has to be plugged in down here to that quick connect right there with the yellow cap on it. So keep that in mind. Also, there's a valve on there. The valve has to be parallel with the fitting to turn it on. So once you plug it in, you can swing the valve on. Okay. You have a outside kitchen with a refrigerator that's 110 AC refrigerator, so as soon as you plug the trailer in, it turns on. Then you have a cooktop here with 2 burners, and that also has to be plugged in, right? So keep in mind there's another LP disconnect here too. So you have 2 of them right in the same area, one over there and then one here, okay? So this just swings out. Excuse my camera work. Swings out, and you got 2 burners. You just light them with a lighter, and it draws propane. Once it's plugged in, it draws propane from the front tanks. Okay, and of course you have plumbing there. You have a sink and an LED and some storage. All right. So also you have a bracket to mount a TV out here, and this is antenna out and power, so you can hook it up. You've got outside speakers and a powered awning with an LED strip. Now keep in mind, this is the vent for the range hood, so if you're going to use the fan on the range hood over the stove, you have to push up on these tabs on the corner here. Hopefully you can see that. And the baffle will flap freely. Therefore it will vent to the outside. If it's closed, it won't vent very well, so if you're going to run the range hood vent, you want to open that up so it flaps. If not, you just keep it shut like that. When you're traveling or not using it, keep it shut. Unless you're tall, you obviously have to stand on something. I don't think I'm going to grow anymore, so I would have to do that. But only when you're using the fan, you need to free up that baffle. Okay. This is a rail that you have a utility table that hangs on there. That's obviously your furnace vent. Okay. You have independent suspension on this, Torflex, so the wheels are independent of each other. It's by far superior to a regular leaf spring. Your stairs fold right into the trailer. So if you want to adjust the legs for the terrain you're on, you see here, you can pull this pin out right here. There's one on each side, and you can extend the legs or retract them to whatever length you need them. All right. So what else have we got here? Storage that goes underneath the hide-a-bed, the Murphy bed, I should call it. Okay. More storage. This is just in case you want to purchase a solar panel to charge your battery. You can plug the solar panel right in there, and it'll charge your battery. Now you have 2 batteries on this. They're wired to 12 volts, so you just have double the storage capacity. So keep that in mind. They are wired to 12 volts, so still 12 volt, but just double your capacity. You have 2 LP tanks that are full, and the regulator is an automatic changeover regulator, so it draws the door side down first, then the off door side back and forth. So you can't select them independently, you just have to let it do its thing. All right. So your power tongue jack, obviously, up and down. You got a light here, and you have this feature here. If this was to fail, you can pull this plug, and down there, you probably can't see it, but there's a hex down there, and let me just close this here. And you can use this crank. Let's see if I got this over here. Where did I see it? It was actually pushed. Oh, it was in here. That's right. I remember now. Okay, so you have a crank right here to crank it manually if you have to. Okay. Now for stabilizers, you crank your scissor type stabilizers with this jack handle. It's just a 3/4 inch 6-point socket, so you can use a drill with a 3/4 inch 6-point socket also if you need to. Okay, so let's see. You also have a kill switch for this battery, which is right here. If you can see the red handle right there, it's on right now. You're always going to have it on unless you put it into storage for a period of time. Otherwise you'll have it on, obviously, because your tow vehicle charges the battery and your power converter charges the battery when you're plugged in, so you always want that on unless you go into storage. Okay, and we'll tell you about the rest of the front end stuff when we show you the hitch up. There's your breakaway switch and cable. Okay, alright. So, you have a fresh water drain under here, which is the fast flow drain. It's actually a gate valve. You can see it, it's white right there. You just pull that gate valve and it'll come gushing out fast. I mean like fast. So it's a much better system than the old petcock type that just drips slowly. Alright. This is the hose for your grill. I told you needed a quick connect hose. It's got a quick connect fitting on it right here. If you can see it. So that's for your grill. You have a water filter canister in here. So if you want to use a water filter, you can. You have to change it every season if you use it. So you would put a new one in after dewinterizing it. You'd put a new one in the spring, and then before you winterize it, you take it out and throw it out, and you just replace a new one the next season. This is the wrench for it. It goes up over the housing of the water filter, the canister itself, and you can spin it off. And you have a spatula and a toilet paper roll, a towel rack, things like that. Also, keep in mind, this is a table. I told you had a table that hangs on the outside on the other side. That's it right there. And you have this crank. Now let me go back to the other side and see what we got with this crank. Okay. So let me see. So you can crank your slide out manually with this trailer. So what you have to do is flip your step up. So let me do that, like so. And you can see there's a hole right here. Now, if you can see in there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but if you look all the way through, you guys, you'll have to trust me a bit, but there's a shaft with a pin through it that will receive this crank. So you can put that crank on there and you can crank the slide out in and out if it happens to fail on you. So it's a really good feature to have. They're very reliable, but you never know, it is a machine. So you do have a way to get it in and out in an emergency. Flagstaff thinks of everything. It's a very, very good trailer. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a mechanic, so I'm not trying to sell. I'm just telling you the facts as I see them. It's an excellent trailer. Okay, so the most common way to get water to this trailer is your city water hookup. This is to fill your fresh water tank right here. So if you go to a older state park, let's say, that it doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, but it has a fill station when you first pull into the park by the ranger station. So you could fill this and then use the onboard pump to pressurize all the trailer, and all the water systems will run just like you have city water, but you'll be pumping it from your own tank. That's with this drain that I just showed you, the white drain with the gate valve on it. Okay. All right. So these are just more storage here, and you slide out, of course. Excuse me. The water heater works on either gas or electric. Now you need to know the switches to operate are inside except for one. It has this switch right here. You can see it right there. It's a rocker switch. It's off right now. This rocker switch controls the heating element, the electric heating element that's behind this cover here. So just make sure you know this is kind of a holdover switch from when it was always just right here. So you want to make sure that when you're going to use the electric heating element that you turn this switch on. Okay. Also, never run your water heater without water in it. So you always got to check and make sure that you have water in the tank before you turn on any power source. The easiest way to do it is to hook up your city water. Then you'll turn on the hot water faucet, let's say, in your sink, and if it's empty, it'll be spitting out air. Then it'll be a combination of air and water as it fills up, and then eventually solid water. When it's hot, the solid water is coming out of the hot water side, you'll know that your tank is full. Okay, this is your power cord, 30 amps and 30 feet long. This is your city water hookup that I was speaking to you about. I showed you the port to fill the fresh water tank. This is the most common way to get water right here. Just hook up the city water, turn it on, and you're all set, ready to go. This port has to do with winterizing. Behind this port in the trailer, behind a panel, you'll find a valve. And that valve will switch between the fresh water tank and this port. The reason it does that is when you want to winterize, you'll make up a hose. This is just a garden hose fitting. It has to be long enough to fit into a gallon of antifreeze that we'd have sitting on the ground. And you would put the hose in a gallon of antifreeze, then because you selected this port with the valve, right, you'll just turn on your water pump and it'll suck, instead of pulling water out of the fresh water tank, it'll suck the antifreeze and pump it into the system to winterize the trailer. So something you would have to learn about if you don't know and you're going to do it yourself, but that's where you would winterize. All right. Also, this is just cable and satellite through with our coax fittings. All right. Now, let me see here. I have to look in the back to see where. Okay. Now here, these are your dump valves here. Looks like they're open, so, whoops, this is your black here, right? Black is toilet water and waste. That is your gray. Gray is sink and shower water. So you're going to hook your hose onto here, your dump hose, put it in the dump station, and then you're going to pull the black first and dump it. The reason you do that, because it's dirtier water than the gray water, obviously. So the gray water will help to clean things out a bit. Even though it is dirty water, it's no way comparable to the toilet water and waste that comes out of the black tank, right? So you dump that second. Now, you can keep the black valve open after you do that, and then you can come back to the back of the trailer with the hose. You put it on this right here. This is a black tank flush. So you put it on there and turn it on, and it'll spray out your black tank, clean off the sensors, get it nice and clean inside, or much cleaner than just dumping it. Just like it says on this sticker, make sure the black tank valve is open before you turn the water on so you don't build up too much pressure. All right, simple enough. Let me look back over here and see if I forgot anything. Nope, that's it. So you have, you're going to have a backup camera right here. I haven't put it on yet. It's right here. I just got to do that in a minute here. So you have a backup camera. Now you have that's also a shower, obviously, or a sprayer, hot and cold water. Now it's great you have a ladder, because any trailer owner has to inspect his trailer 3 times a season or every 90 days of use. So you would figure you would inspect it in the spring, once in the middle of the summer, and once in the fall. You go up on the roof, or have someone go up there. You're going to look for any cracking or separation with the sealant on the roof. You could go up there for years and not have to do anything, or you could have to do it in another year. You know, you just don't know. That's why you're inspecting it, just to make sure that no water gets into your trailer. So you have to inspect the roof every 90 days. If you're going to be in the south, of course, during the winter, you'd inspect it in the middle of the winter also. But you have to do that. Every trailer owner has to do it. Not all trailer owners do it, but it's something you have to do, because this trailer will stay bone dry forever as long as you check all the sealant on the trailer. So any place you see sealant, even on the sides, you see sealant from the factory right here, this is clear ProFlex, just look at it. Just takes a minute, take you a half an hour to inspect it, that's all. So also always use the proper stuff if you're going to touch it up yourself. Don't use caulk from a hardware store. You have to use stuff that's designed. In this case, this is called clear ProFlex, and the roof lap sealant on the roof is called Dicor. So you have to use the correct stuff also. All right, so back, that's your griddle. We already talked about that. So let's come around and go inside. All right. So the steps come down, like so. Very stable steps, they're great. Okay, so here we are inside. So the first thing we see is the control panel. So this control panel, there's probably still going to be some water maybe in the fresh water tank, because we haven't, we're just finishing up winter or water testing it. But let me show you this way. The battery's charged, right? But always check it when you're not plugged in. Fresh water tank is empty. Okay, I thought it might have water in it, but you can see it'll graduate up in 1/3 increments as it fills, and each LED will light up as it fills. Your black tank is empty and your gray tank is empty. Once you get past 2/3 with the gray and black tank, you have to think about dumping it. Okay, these are all just light switches, except for this one's for the Wi-Fi Ranger. I'll explain that to you in a second. I told you could pump your own water from the freshwater tank. That's done here. That's also the pump you would use to winterize the trailer. You light it on gas here, the water heater on gas here, or electric here. Remember, there's a second electric switch outside. So you always make sure there's water in the tank before you turn it on. Your awning, to extend your awning, I can show you right here. Just going to push the extend button. Let me see if I can get over here and show you. There you go, it goes out just like that, or back in. So never leave it out unattended. When you're not at the campsite, roll it in, because you don't want to get damaged by the wind, and it can get damaged in just an instant. So you always got to make sure that you roll it in when you're not there. Now, the awning will go out 8 feet, and you'll see the awning tube when it's rolled all the way out. That's how you know you're all the way out. So once you see the awning tube and it's out about 8 feet, you know that you've got it extended it all the way. Of course, your slide out is here. I'll bring it in a little bit. It's over the floor mount, so it comes in over the floor, as you can see. And when you go back out, it'll ratchet when it's all the way out. Like that. It'll do that both coming in and going out. As soon as you hear that noise, you take your finger off the button. That just keeps it from overextending or over-retracting. It's supposed to do that. Okay? Alright, now, the Wi-Fi Ranger. So, the Wi-Fi Ranger is on the roof. When you get just say you're using your phone or a tablet, just say your phone. Look at the Wi-Fi in your phone and you'll find Sky4 LTE 2326, like it says on this sticker here. That's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So all your devices, all families' devices, their phones or tablets, you would put the password for your Wi-Fi Ranger into their devices, so it'll hook up automatically. The temporary password for this is Change Me Now 2326, right? So to see everything that the Wi-Fi Ranger sees, let's say you're looking for campground Wi-Fi, free public Wi-Fi, you go to this IP address right here, right? So you type in that into your browser, and you go to that address, and you'll see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So you would pick out the campground Wi-Fi and you would connect to it. So all the devices connect automatically to this, to the Wi-Fi Ranger, and then you would just connect the Wi-Fi Ranger to the outside world, so to speak. And it's a really, really, really good signal booster. It's got a built-in firewall and it's a signal booster, so it's a really cool thing to have when you're using public Wi-Fi, which is notoriously dirty and slow. So it's a good thing to have. Now there is a second function for this. That's a paid function. It would be between you and your carrier, whoever you get your phones from, who's ever giving you your 4G or your 5G now. I guess it's probably still 4G, but whoever your provider is, it would be like you'd have to get another SIM card, and you can actually have cellular connection with your trailer also. That's, of course, you have to pay for with your carrier, but most people just use the free function, which is your signal booster, and it's a really, really good signal booster, okay? All right, hopefully you understand that. I explained that good enough. Now this is a device, whether you use or some people use it, some people don't. Basically, it's you can put your wheels will have sensors in the attached to the wheel itself inside the tire, and the sensors are directly across from the valve, right? So right over here, inside here, will be a sensor for your device here. This device will tell you the temperature of your wheels and your tire pressure. It has to be set up. Some people, the reason it's not set up, some people get they want to customize it. They want to get the valve stem type transmitters for their tow vehicle, and you can also do it that way, and you can add your tow vehicle tires to it too. So you can see, if you just looking at this drawing here, each one of these represents an axle. So it can be used on tractor trailers, down to double axle trailers like we have here. This part would be your tow vehicle, and this part would be the trailer. So keep in mind, you can look at the online videos and that sort of thing and decide what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. If you decide you want to do your tow vehicle too, you would have to purchase the transmitters that actually screw right onto the valve stem for your tow vehicle. Okay? But the trailer has built-in sensors that are directly across the wheel from the valve stem. Okay? I know that's a lot of talking, but it's you can also just check your tire pressure regularly like people used to do. You can't go wrong doing that, believe me. So, obviously your television. It's on a bracket and it locks into place back there. The thing to know about this is this device here is your signal booster for your digital antenna. It does have a button on it. You can turn it on and off like that. You want to leave it on so the LED pilot light is on, or else you won't get a good signal. Your radio / disc player is right here. It'll play DVDs and CDs. You can stream off this USB, so you can put all your favorite albums onto one stick and take them with you. You can stream with Bluetooth from your phone or tablets with this. You can go into the system through this HDMI, which is neat because if you want to use a game machine or something to keep kids or grandkids busy during rainy days, you can just set it on the counter here and you go straight into the system right there. So it does a lot. You have 2 speaker zones, inside and outside. One is inside, 2 are the outside speakers. You can set the volume and the source for the outside speakers independently. So there's a lot of things you can do. You have to read up on it in order to teach yourself because there's a lot. It's all basic stuff, but there are some functions that are like setting the speakers independently that you'd have to read up on. But it does a lot of stuff for camping, so it's a good system. Your microwave works like any other microwave. This is your range hood vent and light. Remember I told you that you have to open the baffle when you run the fan, the baffle on the outside. Alright, your range, you spark to light. So, I think I'm sure the power is on. So you just push the gas is on. So you just push this and see it lit right there. So you're just going to spark it by pushing this button right here, like that. Okay. Now the oven has a pilot light that is way back here. It's at the bottom all the way to the back. I don't know if you can see that or not in the dark, but it's there. So you have to sort of get down on your knees to do this, but you will put your oven knob to pilot right here. Then you're going to depress it like so, and then you're going to spark it right there. Once you see that the pilot light lit, you can continue to hold this in, depressed. So after it lit, you hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up. Then you go to operating temperature, and it'll operate like a regular oven does. But once you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. Okay, your refrigerator is gas absorption. So it'll run on LP gas or 110 AC, on and off right there. This is on auto right now. Basically, auto means electric, because electricity takes parameters. So it'll always seek out 110 AC when you put it on auto. If you can't find it, it'll automatically switch to gas, which is a good feature. So let's say you have a power failure during the day and you're out exploring somewhere. You won't spoil your food. It'll just automatically, when it senses the electricity is not there, it'll automatically switch over to gas for you. If you want to run it dedicated to gas down the road, you can do it that way too, just by going like that. But if you have it on auto and it can't find electricity, it's going to start it on gas anyway. The only other thing to know about this is this thing's called a thermistor right here. That's how you set your temperature. So you just want this up as high as it goes till the wire's taut. And you can see it's got a decal there that shows you higher is cooler, lower is warmer. Okay. This device here is your power converter. So what it's going to do is you have 110 AC on this side, the regular household circuit breakers. Then you've got 12 volt DC on this side with regular fuses. So it converts the power from 110 AC over to 12 volt DC here. And if any of these fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up and you can see them through this tinted plastic here. Let me take that off of there. And also when you're plugged in, this is a battery tender. It'll sense how much energy your battery has or needs. And if it's low, it'll send them as many amps as it needs. If they're totally charged, it'll just trickle a couple to maintain them, but it'll keep your battery charged as long as you're plugged in. Alrighty. The table folds down just by pushing that knob, that yellow knob to the right. It'll collapse, and you will put it on these cleats here when you're traveling. Never leave the table up when you're traveling because it can bounce around and break something. You also can turn that into a bed. Of course, your Murphy bed folds down. You would jackknife your couch flat by grabbing it right here and jackknifing it flat, then the bed folds down over it. You've got leg rests on it, and there's your levers for the leg rest. You have a charging station here for your devices. Okay, your thermostat is very basic. It's an analog thermostat. All the way to the right is hot, or is heat. Fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. Cool is the air compressor or the air conditioner. Try to always keep the fan on auto. Okay, this device is a LP and carbon monoxide detector, so it should always be green like it is. If it's not, get it serviced. And also, if it goes off, you're going to take everybody outside, leave the door open, obviously. Shut the gas off at the front and figure out what's going on. Alright, you got a 4-speed fan here, which is a neat thing. Always run the fan with the shower to pull the humidity out. These things are built super tight, so you want to pull that humidity out. Now this, I got to find one of these for you. There should be a little handle on here for you. I'll track one down. But this device is a shower miser. So this is that's regular mode right there. What the shower miser is a water recirculator or circulator. So the idea is it conserves water. Let's say you're going to take a shower and you normally would turn the water on and wait for the hot water to get up here. You'll be using up water, one thing. And number two, you'd be dumping the water into your gray tank so it fills up faster. So you can turn this on and it'll just cycle the water around in a circle till it heats up. Then you'll see this change color to a deeper, vibrant blue. That'll tell you that the water's hot. Then you'll just put it to regular position to take a shower. So it's a water recirculator called a shower miser. Everything in here, all the devices in here, all the appliances have their own manual in this packet. So you can always refer back to them. Plus, don't hesitate to use manufacturers' videos. You just search them on YouTube and you can find the manufacturer's video, and it's good to do when because there's so much. All the stuff in here is simple, but there's a lot to know. So if you need to refresh your memory, that's a good way to do it. The only other thing to know, two other things to know. One of them is this is a GFCI plug here. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through this one, even the one on the outside. So if you're using a coffee pot outside and it pops, you're going to reset it in here. All right. The other thing to know is the toilet RV toilets have to have water and chemical in them before you use them. By in them, I mean in the black tank. So the black tank is directly below there, right? So what you're going to do, the water's not hooked up right now, so we're not going to have any water flow, so I'll just talk you through it. But when you hook up your power and water at the campsite, you take your chemical and you put it right in the bowl. Whatever brand you use, you read the directions, put 1 dose in there, and then you step on the flush pedal. Water will come swirling out, and you put about a gallon or so of water in that tank. It doesn't have to be exact. There's no way to tell exactly what a gallon is. You just use common sense. You just want some water in there and chemical before you start using it. You never use it dry. If you do, you'll regret it. You'll only do it once because you get a bad smell and it can turn hard as a rock in there. So you always want chemical and water when you're starting off with an empty black tank. Let's say you're going to stay on the campsite for another week, but you had to dump your tank because it was full. After you dump the tank, you would come back in here, put the chemical, step on the pedal, put about a gallon of water in there, and start all over again. Anytime you start with a black tank that's empty, you need chemical and water. Okay? All right, I think that covers it. This right here is your antenna. It doesn't go up and down. You just rotate it to tune it in. Okay? Okay, so you also need a slide lock in here, which is this thing here. We'll explain that to you when you pick it up. It's just basically when the slide out is in, you're going to place it in behind this seal cushion here and this tag right here. We'll show you that when you pick up, okay? All right, so thanks for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I told you about inspecting your roof. That's the most important thing I can tell you, is always inspect your roof every 90 days. Also, the trailer has to be winterized, so you have to bypass the water heater and things like that. So if you don't know this already and you're going to winterize yourself, you have to educate yourself a bit on it. Again, tons of videos. Try to stick with manufacturers' videos. That's the best way to learn. And we'll go from there, okay? All right, well, thank you very much.